Been here 24 hours, already working on the forklift.
No, he look.
Dylan does it on purpose.
Uncomfortably touched my
Dylan
finger.
will hand me
He was like,
something. Dylan will hand me things like this, so that you have to.
Welcome to United by Trucks. We're still on Mississippi mud. As you can see, we got a freshly coated chassis back there. We've got cab being body worked over there, and we got some special guests. Jesse Vaughn, Dylan Johnson from Level 7. We're gonna be making this chassis into a roller and doing all sorts of other stuff. Jesse and Dylan got in last night and actually got to work on some stuff while I was finishing coating the frame. So let's go check in with Jesse, see what they got done. Give me a check.
Check yourself.
Jesse and Dylan, when they came in last night, decided they want to get right to work.
We got some really nice parts put on this motor. We did the Holley mid-mount accessory drive. That's all installed. And then since you're doing EFI, we went ahead and started putting some of the sending units in. We put the coolant temperature sensor in, and then we worked on getting the oil pressure sending unit installed too. You had bought a very nice Circle D converter, pre-filled that, put it in the 4L80, and got the 4L80 mated to the small block. All the converter bolts are in the flex plate too. So once we get the motor mounts cleaned up and bolted on, this is pretty close to sitting in the frame.
We've got some black Cerakoted Ultimate headers with polished flanges that are coming, and the throttle body, the 4150 throttle body for the Terminator is actually polished. So I think this is going to come together really, really well. This is Yuba Gold on the block, which is an original 75 color, and that is just a stock 4L80 that we have refreshed. We'll change the fluid, change the filter, and then we put that new Circle D converter in there. So this is looking super great. Jesse, thanks for just coming in and getting that together.
Yeah, I love how this looks.
Me too. That mid-mount accessory drive also is whoo.
Yep. And I tell you what, man, you cannot beat the sound of a little cam small block.
I agree.
I can't wait to hear this thing.
I can't wait to either. Especially with long tubes on it.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Getting that center link off so we can reuse it. We're actually got all new steering components. But we're using a little Skeet from Sweet Patina here. They're penetrating lubricant, and it actually worked out pretty well because Dylan just got that busted apart. Jesse, what you doing?
Cleaning up these so I can spray paint them. These are the engine mount bracket, or engine stands.
Those Swiss cheese engine stands?
They got a couple extra holes, but they ain't bad.
Just really quickly, I want to tell you, pretty happy with the frame. We had a little bit of maybe some hardener issues where it didn't lay down as smooth in some sections. Could have been our fault, maybe with some prep, or it might have been a bit of a hardener issue in the actual rust preventative coating. We got this looking pretty good, pretty excited about it, so we're gonna start plumbing the chassis and then get the Detroit speed kit on it. So here we go. While Jesse is working on plumbing up front, Dylan is working on getting the front hangers on. I'm getting the C-notch in. So Detroit Speed provides all the hardware that you need. Obviously that template that we showed you earlier. And so we're just getting these bolted in now. So Jesse can finish running brake lines back here and kind of know where we are.
Just so nice out. I know it.
And having the doors open and homes right. Tomorrow's Saturday. You're not going home tomorrow, you're gonna go on Sunday.
No, I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're having brisket tacos.
Yeah, that's what Mike would say.
What we do is drill all the holes 2 steps bigger.
Oh.
So then after it's coated, you don't have to clean it.
I mean, why would you do something so common sense?
I really seen it click in you after I said that. Like,
I was like, oh. Why are you hitting me with such common sense? Yeah. But it's the little things. I mean, it's the little things you pick up when you work with someone who does this all the time for a living. Significant part of the Detroit Speed kit for the rear is these drop hangers. So really critical component that helps you get low in the rear and low, says Dylan. So these are the Detroit Speed front hangers, so we knocked the other ones off, and Dylan's installing these now. So for the rear ones, we'll use the stock hanger, but Detroit Speed's drop shackle. And this has a flip kit also, so we'll show you that in a minute. Okay guys, this is something I'm very excited about. This is something that Jesse and I actually put together while swimming in the ocean in Navarre, Florida. Navarre Beach, Florida. I don't even know if that's how you say it. But we were talking about this build while on family vacation together, and Jesse said, hey man, I've had something in my mind for quite a while for these trucks that I think is going to make your life a lot better and make the lives of others a lot better. Sorry about that phone ringing in the background. We're just going to let it go.
It's not a shop phone. Yeah, so this is a full chassis brake plumbing package. The reason why we did this is there's a lot of DIY guys that they can buy brake packages, they can buy master cylinders, they can buy everything to do their brakes, but the one thing that they need to do or be able to do is do the chassis hard lines, you know, plumb the chassis itself. Even if you go to like Classic Tube, you can buy stainless hardline packages, but they are very OE. You know, they only OE master cylinder. What we did to combat that was create a softline package. So these are all -3 stainless braided hoses that have a silicone coating on the outside to keep the abrasion down if they're up against something. And then all the fittings that are on the ends are all stainless. They got our little logo tags on them. And every bag is labeled on where it goes. So,
and numbered.
Yeah, they're numbered, so your first two are going to go from the Willwood master cylinder with a prop valve. These are going to thread right into the prop valve and go down to bulkhead fittings that we give you that go in the frame. You got all the rest of them, so left front, right front, and then we got a two-piece kit that goes all the way to the back. So the way we do that is we include a bulkhead bracket and the hardware to mount that, and the line goes all the way around to the back, and then we have a second smaller hose that can go to the rear end. We did that so that if you decided to do a different rear end or something completely different, you could just take that one hose off and buy a different hose if you did something different with the rear end. Yeah,
so what that means is that you don't have to go back. If you buy this kit for a square body and you have a stock rear end like I'm going to be using, and I decide I want to upgrade to a 9-inch, I don't have to buy the whole kit again. Jesse's made this modular where you can just pull one piece out of it, buy the other piece, just that smaller hose, and get your 9-inch up and going with brakes.
Yeah, so it comes with all 6 hoses, and even in the front, you know, where the factory has a little holes for the line to come through, these lines are made in the same way where they go through the frame and the little clip taps down and holds it in place.
Very cool.
So you don't have to go back to the parts store trying to find random pieces that you don't know how to explain what they are. You got everything you need to put these on.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say is that I have gone to the parts store many times trying to get just these little clips right. And it's been very frustrating. So I'm happy to see that this is, you know, sort of all pre-packaged and pre-thought out where you can just really get it together.
Yeah, and you can install this in an hour and a half, something like that. The only time consuming thing you'll have is the mounting clips. So these are plastic clips that go on the frame itself.
I have accidentally sandblasted these, and that is why they are dull.
They look a little nicer, a little more fresh. But they'll come with a machine screw, so you can drill and tap the frame if you want to.
Which you did here.
I did. I went ahead and drilled and tapped this frame, and that's what these are for. They also come with self-tappers. If you want to just hurry up and zip them in, you can totally do that. And then once these are mounted to the frame, the lines just snap into them. That's it.
Which I can't wait for you to see that. Like, it is that simple. The way these things, as soon I didn't even have the lines when I saw the little mounting brackets on the frame, and as soon as I saw them, I knew exactly how this was going to go. I mean, they literally will just snap right in.
And one last thing to talk about with these hoses is that yes, these are DOT approved hoses. The manufacturer that's doing these for us, they hold the DOT approval rating, and so these are all crimped by them and pressure tested and hold that DOT approval. So these are road legal hoses.
Very cool. So you can get these at level7motorsports.com, and they'll be on the website when?
Give me a month or so on these. We're doing a big run of them, so it takes a little bit of a time to put all these packages together. The manufacturing of the bracket is already done. I have those powder coated, but now we're just waiting all the sets to be crimped and shipped back to us. So it is going to take a little bit of time. We're doing these for stock chassis only. We're not going to do aftermarket chassis. The square body is now. 67 to 72 will be next, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there.
Sounds good. Like I said, level7motorsports.com. Be on the lookout on the website. If you follow Jesse on Instagram, you'll see it released there as well. But let's go get these things installed, and you can show people how easy this is going to be. All right.
all the brake line kit's installed, and I just wanted to kind of show you where it begins. So we don't have the cab setting up here yet, so I don't have the master cylinder on, but this kit is designed to be used with a Willwood tandem master cylinder and their proportioning valve that mounts directly to it. So hoses 1 and 2 are what connect to the bulkheads that go inside the frame, and they thread directly into the bottom of the Willwood proportioning valve. And then in this kit, you'll get a plug for one of the front ports as well. So these are very easy. The front line is just a splitter, so when we plug this, it's fine. This is just front brake circuit. You can see that it splits here and does a left front and right front. And then the rear is what actually has the proportioning in it. So these are like a high pressure pop off, so these can be adjustable to bypass or pop off up to 50% of the rear brake pressure. These thread right in and lead down to the bulkheads, and then I give you the measurements of where to drill these holes. And then don't critique me too much because I forgot some more of these clips, but I just have zip ties on here for now, but there are more of these black clips that attached to each other that or act as line separators. So this isn't as nice as it can look because typically we have line separators in here. But it's pretty easy. Just mount the little black clips, snap the hoses in, pop them through, and here, Robbie, you can see on this side, they just pop right through the factory hole, and you tap the little clip down. And then this is an adapter, and it does have an inverted flare in there if you wanted to use that style, but typically every aftermarket brake package will run a -3AN soft hose, so we go ahead and send you the adapter for a -3. And then you guys can see that we went ahead and installed this little, so this is the rear brake circuit, this is the bulkhead fitting that's made onto this line. So all you got to do is attach it to the bracket, put the bracket up, make a little mark, drill a 1/4 inch hole, and it secures the rear line here. And then, like I said earlier, this is the rear line that you can sub out for different rear lines if you need to. And this one is specific for the factory rear end, so it's got that little bracket that hangs out over here. We'll round that up and put that sucker in there.
Man, that's cool. And it took you probably
like 30 minutes,
yeah.
But I had already drilled and tapped all those threads.
Yeah,
so
totally. So an afternoon, you can drill and tap everything and run your lines, likely in your garage.
Even if you're just like goofing off and trying to do it casually, in 2 hours you can do all this.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Dude, that breeze right now.
Yeah, it feels so good.
Barely been here 24 hours, already working on the forklift.
I used to drive forklift for a living.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, you definitely just managed this old cat. I don't even know what year this thing is.
I don't know.
I love it though. Yeah, we just been stickering it up.
Bucky's most important.
Oh, Jesse doesn't like to be touched.
Well, it's because Jesse really enjoys it, but he doesn't want to get too much enjoyment in front of other people, you know what I'm saying?
I don't want you to
Is that what it is?
I don't want you to see the excitement in my eyes.
Yeah. Who did you develop this theory with?
Me and Dylan.
Oh, you and Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan's mostly my idea, but
Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't seem like Dylan contributed at all.
well, he does something to it.
Well, it's my first set of big boy brakes. Right here. This is not something I expected we were going to be putting on this build, but I'm super thankful to Willwood for coming on board, and to Jesse for helping it all happen, and specifically making sure we got what we needed. It's become super apparent to me that there's quite a bit more that goes into picking these brake packages than meets the eye. So I think there's some specific things that Jesse can talk about here that really will help explain how all this goes together. So we're doing master on the firewall, no booster. I think most of you knew that, with Jesse's master spacer, which is over there. And we're doing 13-inch rotors in the front and 12 8/8 in the rear. All of it will accompany the Detroit Speed GMT 800 spindle and hub assembly, and we've got 6 piston calipers up front, 4 piston calipers in the rear. And for all the technical stuff, I'm going to kick it over to you.
So what you've just experienced is called the Jesse Vaughn effect.
Oh, is that what this is
something that's been coined many years ago in our shop. It's not something that you necessarily had to have.
Yeah, for
but,
sure.
You know, I get to talking, I'm like, man, you know what'd be cool?
That's true. And here we are, folks.
Yeah, the Jesse Vaughn effect hit him. With you running the Detroit Speed spindle,
Yep.
It's very easy to pick up a brake package. You could have gone to a parts store and run the GMT 800 stuff.
Yep.
It's totally fine. But we know that there are going to be some more aggressive driving in the future, maybe for this truck.
Yep.
And we want to make sure that you don't do redundant spending. I don't want you to spend your money on stock brakes and then want to upgrade later on down the road. So Willwood has developed a number of brake packages for that Detroit Speed spindle. So what's really cool is if you go on their website, you can click 1975 C10. It'll ask you what spindle you're using, and you can click the Detroit Speed spindle, and it will show you all the brake options that are available through them for that very specific spindle.
And that's on Willwood's website.
Yeah, it's right on their website. So it's awesome. They've been a great company to work with my entire career, and they're always on the forefront of developing really good brake packages for new, spindle designers or chassis manufacturers or whatever.
Staying relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. And so they make a 12-inch brake package. This is a 13.06 or something, or 13.08, so it's a little over 13 inches. We picked a slotted rotor for you and a black caliper. The black caliper is just me and you. We like that.
Just simple and clean.
Yep. And then so the slotted rotor is a kind of a performance-oriented rotor. I believe it's called the Type 37 rotor. This is an 1.25 inch wide rotor. It's got good vanes, good cooling, and a lot of thermal capacity. But this is a good disc to use for everything, for normal driving and for road racing, autocrossing, stuff like that.
So it's something I can really grow into, like you said.
You've got tons of leverage, tons of thermal capacity, and the ability to change out pads now. So I set you up with a BP10 pad, so it's got really good initial bite, and they can hold a good amount of temperature but then start to fall off. Later, if you do decide to do some autocrossing or road racing, we can change to BP20s, and they're a little colder initial bite. They don't perform as well cold. Then once you start to build heat, they really come on and they'll bite hard.
Very cool.
The dyno charts kind of go in different directions. So you can always go up to make these work really well in the future if you want to do a bunch more performance stuff. And then why we did a 12.88 inch rotor in the back with a 4-piston caliper is we wanted to match piston surface area to make sure that you don't get a lot more rear brake lockup than you do front. So you've got a really well balanced brake package.
Awesome.
It's going to look awesome. It's going to perform awesome. And then we've sized the master cylinder according to the calipers that you have.
Sure. Which is what size you?
So this is a 15/16.
Okay. Very
so
cool.
there's a lot of people out there that just think that 15/16 is always what you use for manual brakes, but that's not always the case. So if you have a small piston surface diameter in the back, you might have had to go down to a 7/8.
Okay. The piston surface area really matters when it comes to really looking at size of rotor and
matching it to the bore size. So what we do is we take piston surface area of the calipers, and then we decide what pedal ratio you have, and that determines what bore size that we would need to use.
Very cool.
So you're set up. This is really, really good stuff.
I'm pumped. Thanks for helping.
I can't wait to see this stuff.
I know, man. I really appreciate it.
Behind those wheels.
Yeah, and like this is, like I said, it's my first set of big boy brakes. I know there are larger and maybe even more involved brake kits, but I'm just...
The installation process is very simple. It's just that there is a price point that you got to get over.
Sure.
But these are brakes that you're going to live with forever and ever and ever. There's no reason to ever get rid of these and get something else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks for helping out. Willwood, we appreciate you guys for always being on the cutting edge and at the forefront of the market. And, for relying on folks like Jesse who can help with, all the technical specs of this type of brake package. So appreciate you, man. Thanks, Willwood. We're going to get to putting these on.
Hit me with it.
We are getting ready to install the Willwood disc brake kit on this factory 10-bolt rear end. And so what Dylan's doing right now is pulling the pin out of the differential. Once he pulls the pin out, I can push the axle shaft in, use this trusty magnet, pull the C-clip out, pull the axles out, and then we can put the backing plates that have the incorporated emergency brakes on them on this housing.
Sweet.
So I'm finishing up the rear brake installation, and what we've been working on for a few minutes is setting the backspace of the caliper. So you want to center the caliper. These calipers don't float. So setting the caliper dead centered over the rotor center line is really important, primarily because you don't want one pad in super tight and the other one not, loose. So Willwood will give you little shims. The baseline on this one is one of the small shims between the caliper mounting bracket and then this billet machine spacer. And so this caliper bracket, and most of these caliper brackets on any type of rear end are gonna have a backing plate. So the backing plate bolts to the axle flange, and once it's on, then you can bolt the caliper mounting bracket on. So it's pretty simple. I'm just trying to set up these spacers right now, and then we'll loosely bolt it all in, make sure that the caliper is centered, and then I'll pull out the bolts one by one and put Loctite on them and torque them. And then we'll load the pads in it, and then we're done in the rear. Yeah, I think so. There you go.
How's he doing?
I wasn't even there. Like,
All right, so we're getting the sway bar brackets on the bottom of the frame for the Detroit Speed 1 7/16 inch sway bar.
the hog leg.
A big boy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just waiting on you to.
It's right at 3.
Yep. All right, guys, quick recap. We're back in the shop today. If you haven't seen, the cab has been painted. They're still working on that. Nick Henderson, Mike, been doing a lot of great work on it. Jesse is in there now, starting to lay out how he wants to wire things. If you didn't know this about Jesse, he is a wiring fanatic, freak, just loves wiring. I don't, and he's gonna make this look really good. But if y'all notice, OTTR's in the background. We're gonna work on getting the engine in with Dylan and get the trans cross member in. But let me give you a quick recap as to what we finished up last night. All the brake lines, the level 7 brake line kit is run. We got the engine purchase on with the mounts. Cross member's been painted. We just have that sitting there. Need to get that bolted in once we get the engine and trans in. We got the fuel pump in the tank. Tank's been secured. Hey, did you do that last night, Dylan? Did you secure that tank?
Me and Mike.
I didn't even realize that. Sweet. Yeah, tank secured, fuel pump in. We got to go pull the hosing off for it. But the rear is all looking great. So probably didn't cover it last night, but this rear end is a hand-me-down rear end that Mike had. It has a 342 LSD in it, new axles, and as you saw, the new Willwood rear disc brake kit. You can see the Willwood's poking through the wheels there. And all the Detroit Speed stuff is wrapped up back here. Shocks are on. They're drop shackle, drop front hanger, and the C-notch. So now we're gonna start filling the space up here and see if we can at least, hopefully, get this thing down on one wheel. I ended up ordering the wrong control arm for the passenger side, and it won't be here till tomorrow, which is kind of late. So we'll figure something out there. We'll at least set it down on this side, hopefully. Borgeson quick ratio box is on. Detroit Speed sway bar up front, and we're starting to mock up, obviously, the front brakes. Center link is on. So if you recall, we used the old center link and then had new inner and outer tie rods with the Detroit Speed sleeves. Okay, I think that's gonna get us caught up. We're gonna get started. Are you hating life right now?
What?
Are you hating life right now?
It's a little more labor intensive than the forklift, I'll admit.
Come on in with it. Walk her on in here.
Clear that front cross member, but.
There you go.
This side's going to come down. Keep coming, Mike.
Well,
You can get yours in, do that, and we'll.
come in.
There we go.
So the master cylinder is Willwood's compact tandem master cylinder. It's pretty cool. They come with their own little steel bracket, and they come with a proportioning valve that mounts right on it. And the coolest thing to me is the part that I came up with and I'm really happy about. But it's just a simple aluminum spacer that pushes these out just enough to clear the factory reinforcement. If you got a factory firewall, you can just put this on and go manual brakes. And then we'll take some pictures inside too, but we put these together with our specific recipe of parts to get the push rod just the right length too to hook up to the factory pedal.
I watched him do that. That's super cool.
Yeah, that's super rad. Dylan, tell us what you got here.
So this is a little mount for the ECU and the Dakota Digital bin box. So what's it going to do? It's going to mount to the side of your pedal assembly there, so that the ECU can mount to that side. The VHX box will mount to the inside. Weld some studs on there. That way it's all tucked up underneath the dash and nice and hidden away.
Very cool. And the cool thing about this is this is the Holley BIM that pulls in information from the Terminator ECU and then will display that information on the Dakota Digital gauges. So pretty cool.
All right, guys, so we're at the point, we got a lot, let me just say this, we got a lot going on in here. We got people mounting battery boxes, trans-cross member. Me and Churchill are gonna finish getting the front buttoned up. We have stock style upper control arms, stock style. These are actually the control arms off of Teddy. We just cleaned those up. This is a new one. We've got the Moog and Pro Forged ball joints in these that Holley supplied. And as you can see, something I'm very excited about, 13-inch Willwood brake setup up front, 6-piston caliper with the Detroit Speed spindle and hub assembly. That this is all, you know, really a direct bolt-on kind of situation. So we're going to throw in the Detroit Speed coil. So just a reminder, this is a static drop. This is akin to, you know, if you think of like a basic 5.7 or 4.6, but this has all the, you know, geometry and performance inspired type engineering made into it. So this coil, along with the sway bar and the spindle and hub setup, should really give us what we're looking for up front from a ride and performance perspective. So we're gonna get this bolted up and keep moving. That was some wild rambling right there.
It's all good, man.
Gosh,
Throw it up in there.
I'm nowhere near on my game today.
That's all good. All good.
Mike, can I get that one more time?
Hey, Trey, check that up, please.
Yeah, just a,
You ready? Yes, sir.
yes. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
bro, I put every bit of muscle I got into it.
it's all good. Man got that hamstring.
I don't know about that.
Well,
We'll do the template, drill the hole. Covering up them wheelies.
And then the only other annoying thing with this one has, you won't have to.
Yeah, I gotta meet my buddy. Hey, thanks for all the help. For real. That wouldn't have been possible without y'all.
That looks so good. I can't.
It's getting better.
Isn't that crazy?
Parts of me.
However,
What'd you order? Oh, you ordered them? Yeah, you should have got a dump dump. Dummy. That's the biggest
She's doing.
I got it.
I was just letting you get there.
I got it. At least you didn't have to say it, right?
All right, guys. So we're finishing getting the sway bar done. You saw the other night where Dylan and I got this mounted up on the frame. To get the sway bar to mount to the end link, Detroit Speed provides this little template. So you just use the 2 factory holes that are on top of the frame, bend it down, punch for the driver's side, and drill that hole for this bracket, and then do the same on the passenger side, except you use the right hole. So we're gonna get that punched out, drilled, and get this installed. All right, Jesse, you've been doing some cool stuff under the dash, even though it may not look super cool or complete.
it's hidden.
It's hidden, and you got some stuff started.
Yeah, we were able to put the pedal assembly in. You guys saw we put the master on the outside, but I went ahead and mounted the new fuse block to the firewall, and then we started kind of laying out what wires needed to go in what direction and got them. Some of them that are done, we went ahead and taped them up, and they're terminated and done. But then Dylan helped me build a mount so that we could mount the Dakota VHX box, the Holley bin box, and then the Terminator ECU's mounted under here too. So all that stuff's up and out of the way and tidy, and the other cool thing is those little diagnostic LEDs you'll still be able to see if you lean under the dash.
Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah.
But that whole thing can be unbolted with 2 bolts, and then it's got 2 connectors on it here too, so you could unbolt that and then plug it and take it out.
Very clean.
Yeah, so I mean, for a few hours we got a pretty good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very appreciative of that.
Yep.
Especially the bracket. I like that. I just think it's cool.
I hate things just zip tied under the dash.
Yeah, I think that just looks great. And I'm really, really happy with everything else on the chassis. You want to walk over here real quick and just kind of, let's give our thoughts real quick. Well, we got a roller.
Yeah,
I'm super jacked about this.
I'd be pretty happy.
Quite a few of us got on this thing and really got it knocked out. I'm still plenty to do, but I'm just super happy. I want to say a big thanks for all the stuff that you helped us out with on this roller. I think that the combination of the suspension, the brakes, your battery box, the brake lines, getting all that dialed in.
I think this is a really cool combination of parts too. Old school, some new school, some high performance stuff, some cruiser truck stuff. I really like the combination of stuff.
Thanks, man.
When I first saw Mississippi Mud, I had my reservations about the truck. And then when you did your video showing the products that you had picked, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So I'm really pumped to see it coming together. So this is the Speed 2 kit, right?
That's right.
This
Yeah.
one
So
comes with the sway bar and the steering pieces.
that's right. Inner and outer tie rods, sway bar, coil, spindle and hub assembly, and then of course we attached the what brakes to that.
Which was really easy. Did you notice how fast that went?
Yeah,
together?
it just went right on.
Yeah.
Went right on. So super pumped about that. Fuel tank's there, rear end's all buttoned up. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the video, but very happy with how all this turned out.
Ride height's going to be awesome, and we were just talking about how much adjustment really there is in the rear ride height too. So you can go up one here and down one in the front, or vice versa. So I think you got some adjustability in how level the truck sits.
I think you're right.
Yep.
You can see we got us a drive shaft here that Jesse brought us down out of.
Yeah, it was a pull-out that doesn't really work for the project it came out of anymore, and would be perfect for this. So that's usable. And then Mike started mounting our battery box and then the anti-gravity battery. So he got a good start on that as well.
It's later in the evening or afternoon. You about to head back?
Yeah, I am.
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna drive.
Be safe.
Kids.
Very much appreciate everything, and
Thank you, Dylan.
I think we might. Yes, Dylan, for sure. Thank you.
Thanks. Good job, bro.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah.
And the other cool thing is we did get the engine set. I guess I don't know if I really even talked about that much. This is the 350 small block, aluminum heads. There's Summit brand. We're going to do a whole engine episode if we haven't already done it, just to give you all the specs and breakdown. But I think the coolest thing outside of what we did on the on the small block is the Holley mid-mount accessory drive. That is just super clean, and while not the most inexpensive thing, I think it really cleans up the engine bay and definitely makes the small block look the best it can. All right, guys, kind of a monumental moment. Cab's going on for the first time.
just want to throw the frame back into the different frame. Yeah, he's ready and everything.
Move this thing where it needs to be and go home. Is that right here? Back in this spot? Yeah. Okay.